Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and today we will be taking a look at one of the latest additions to the Sky Striker archetype. We have a new Link monster, and I didn't expect the Link monster. I was hoping for another main deck Sky Striker, but I guess Konami said otherwise. So previously we announced there was an announcement of a monster known as Sky Striker Ace Azalea. And while we had no prior information about her, we now have one. And she's pretty based if you're running Chaos. How so? Let's explain why. So, Sky Sugar Ace Azalea, she is a Link to Dark Attribute Machine Time monster with 1500 attack. She points top left and bottom right. Requires 2 light and or dark monsters. Must be Link summoned. You only set to summon Sky Shaker Ace Azalea once per turn. If this card is just a summon, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard, send this card to the graveyard. Once per turn, at the start of your damage step, if this card... once per turn at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish one spell card from your graveyard and destroy that opponent's monster. So while this seems very meh in terms of the combination of things, I honestly think this is a pretty solid monster. I just think that there's a lot of repetition through her effects that will question if she is worth playing in the deck overall. The one thing is that, yeah, she's another Link 2. This is similar to Zeke, who she is also a Link 2 monster. Being the fact that both of them are Dark Attribute, both of them have different have more than one marker. And unfortunately, there's this big clause of she must be Link summoned, and she can only be special summoned once per turn. I believe all of the Sky Ace monsters have the you can only special summon one of this particular monster per turn. So that isn't too much of an issue, because of course you can just link her into another monster or link her out into another Sky Striker. The problem that I think most people are going to have is the whole you can banish a spell from the grave to destroy an opponent's monster when you enter the damage stat. While this is a great way to clear out some of the problematic cards, the issue is that how are you going to get these cards back? And actually, I was having a conversation with someone prior to this, actually yesterday at the time of recording, when they announced the new monster, simply because of the fact that, well, that begs the question of how are you going to be able to send the spells to the grave for additional stuff if you're going to have this monster banish them to put them in hex. Well, remember, we do have the sages coming out, and each of those sages have the ability to add spells and spell cards back to the hand, particularly the Skystructure spells. While that is a given to get a lot of the cards back, some people may feel that that is not fast enough to send them to the grave, to where other cards will gain their multiple effect when there are 3 or more spell cards in the graveyard. Now, this also leads to the fact that you will have to run multiple other spells, which, remind you, Pure Sky Striker can do that. When cards like Foolish Burial of Goods, Metal Fusion, Terraforming, and stuff like that. Although those seem very archaic now to the fact that we have the Bastille cards in the TCG and OCG, and most people are running towards those for more of an additional engine for the Sky Strikers. I think that's probably this monster probably will fit more so in a pure, more spell-oriented deck than it would into more of a hybrid. Now, I'm not saying that this would be a good hybrid card, because it does consist of light and dark monsters for the requirement of a special summon. I think at a point in time, she'll be good just as the factor of her name is, she is a Sky Striker card. This could open up play for other players to play stuff like what is it that you can play in the deck? That'd probably be, oh, you know what it is? That she would be great in Light and Dark decks, just because of the fact that she can banish stuff. Well, she's gonna banish the spells, which I know is an unfortunate thing for most people, but she can send herself to the grave. That can pick up cards like Ray and Rose. I think more so the fact that it'll pick up Ray, because she's Dark Attribute, and she aligns herself with the archetype more efficiently. It's a very weird scenario. when you look at this, because I don't see her as a bad card. I just feel like she'll be more oriented to pure Sky Striker than as to Sky Striker with hybrid. Um, which it can work. It's just that you really have to plan out a lot of the massive amount of spells that you're going to be running and what spells would suffice you. And also, if you're going to run the Sages, so that the Sages can help Survice bring a lot of those cards back. Because at that point, the Sages are basically here in case you want to say, okay, I'll banish the, what is it? I'll banish Engage to get Engage back and hope that my monster's effect doesn't get negated by Engage being added back to my hand. That's literally the only thing I can really think of in terms of that. Otherwise, I think this is just a pretty mid card. Like she's not bad, she's not good, and there can be potential just as long as the build itself brings out that potential. And I think for most people are going to ask, when are they going to create a Sky Striker spell that will get back spells that are banished, and instead of just having to have to banish all these cards and then have them back to hand. So I think more so of what cards can Foolish Burial, or better yet, Burial from a different dimension spells back into the graveyard so that they can help trigger additional abilities on the Sky Checkers when there are 3 or more spells. But that's for a different video. But it is something to bring up. So, with that said and done, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of Azalea. Do you think this is a good card for the Sky Strikers? Do you see the hybrid basis of it? Do you think she'll be playable in other decks? And more of that in the comment section below. With that said and done, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. You can also hit the notification bell so you guys can be informed of when I do upload more content to the channel. Also, hit me up on social media. Those links are in the description box below. And catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, where we will be exploring more of Hyrule and The Legend of Zelda. So, with that said, thanks everybody for watching. I'll catch you amazing people next time. HPJ, signing out. Take care.